Well, my name's Webb. I've been training martial arts for about 15 years now, I suppose. I've done most traditional martial arts, hold 3 black belts and instructor qualifications in 6 different martial arts. About 8 years ago, I was doing JKD at the time and I was kind of really into the ground thing, saw the UFC, saw Hoist, and a young Brazilian called Braulio Estima, who was a brown belt at the time, came over. And I originally went there because I thought I'd test my skills against him, see how I get on. And an hour later, he'd flipped me up in the air, spun me around, made me do somersaults, tapped me out about 30 times in a minute, whilst laughing, you know. So I was thinking, I've just stopped everything else I was training at the time and began doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Trained 3 times a day for about 3 years, full-time with Braulio, and I'm now black belt under Braulio Estima. It's a massive achievement. It's a big pressure at the same time because people, you know, expect you to be good. I kind of liked being a blue belt that was exceptional and nobody expects you to be good. It's a lot of pressure, but it's also a massive honour, especially to get off Braulio, because I think we're starting to get, and it's happening with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, we're starting to get these not so legitimate black belts creeping in. But I think, you know, Braulio's widely regarded as the best in the world, along with Hodger and a couple of other guys. You know, he's right at the top of the food chain, and he doesn't go giving away black belts for nothing. So massive achievement. Yeah, really proud. I met Rich, who obviously owns Combat and Exercise, about 3-4 years ago now. We've known each other for a long time. He used to come down and train at the academy. He'd obviously got Combat and Exercise at the time, but you know, didn't go shouting around, a really humble guy, came down, trained with all the guys, was always interested in just learning. Obviously, he came from a background where he was training multiple arts at the time, so he didn't have the same sort of time to develop to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then about, I suppose, 2 years ago, he approached me about teaching here at Combat and Exercise. It wasn't possible at that time, but when the opportunity arose, I started doing a couple of classes, and we've just built it from there, really. It's going to be huge. I think the great thing about our team at the moment is it's good fun. And I think we sometimes get caught in this idea that, you know, we're either training fighters or you're training recreational or you go for, and I think we've managed to encompass it all, and I think we're one of the few to do that. I think you'll come down and you'll see we've got one of the toughest MMA teams. I think we've got one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teams coming up through the ranks. Some of our blue belts are winning all the comps at the moment. And I just think it's a friendly environment where most MMA schools, and it kind of leads me on to this idea that most MMA schools are quite illegitimate in the way that they've been set up. You know, mixed martial arts was the best and the worst thing to happen to martial arts, in my opinion. The best in the sense that it made us realise that traditional martial arts weren't as functional as we perhaps thought they were. The worst in the sense that they're no traceable lineage. So any Tom, Dick or Harry can open up an MMA school and they're not very good at boxing, they're not very good at Thai, they're not very good at wrestling, they're not very good at the ground, but they teach a little bit of it, spar a little bit and call it MMA. And I think that's the big issue that's going around, like a pandemic at the moment, MMA schools popping up. But I think what we've got is we've got class right the way through. You know, we've got great boxing coaches, we've got great Thai coaches, all with traceable lineages. Everything, we can't just say, oh, they're good. We can back that up by saying, you know, we've got ABA champions, you know, professional fighters, we've got world-class Thai boxers. You know, my lineage is really obviously traceable right back to Braulio. So, and I think that's where the quality starts to kick in. We're just going to keep training. You know, I've got a strong team now. I think we've got 5 blue belts under us, maybe 6. I can't think off the top of my head, but we've got you know, a few good blue, they're good standard blue belts. They're not just, you know, I'm not giving belts away. Some I learned from Braulio very early on. So we've got quality, and I just want to see that. You know, I visualise a point where we're going to have 10, 11 black belts on the mat that are all still with us, having their own schools, but want to keep this base. I think it's going to go huge. It's the hardest thing in the world because you see it and you can't really understand what Jiu-Jitsu is until you've experienced it on the ground. It's essentially judo. Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are the same. Jiu-Jitsu, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu I should say, is judo without the referee saying mate every 2 minutes. It's what would happen if you let the fight continue. And that's essentially what I tell people. I say it's a bit like judo, and then other than that, you've got to come down, you've got to try it out, because, you know, I've done pretty much every martial art there is to do. I hold black belts in multiple ones, and I'm a PE teacher as well, so I play a lot of sports, I teach a lot of sports. You won't experience anything like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in any other sport, you know, and it's hard to convey in words. You have to come down, you have to train. You know, you go and train with Braulio, and I guarantee 10 minutes from rolling away, you'll only probably be rolling them for 3 minutes before you want to stop. But 3 minutes rolling them, you'll understand what I mean, because he can put as much pressure, or he can go, you know, literally like water, throw you around, and that's what I was always looking for in an art, somewhere where I could really control someone without needing any strength and really just dominate someone. And it's a special thing, but it's hard to describe what it is. You've got to experience it, you've got to get down and give it a go. It's just a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, you know, we lend gis out. that we've got a website, combatexercise.com. The timetables are all on there, they're all up to date. You know, we offer classes 6 days a week in all the different systems: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, boxing, Thai, all the functional arts that we offer classes in. And just come down and give it a go. You know, your first class is free, so you've got nothing to lose, you know. And the reality is you might hate it, and we don't try and give anyone the hard sell. Come down if you don't like it. That's, you know, thanks for coming down, and they go on their way. But that doesn't normally happen, to be honest with you. There's always hurdles, I think, and I think, you know, this is 90% of the people that drop out of the martial arts because they don't think, you know, when you start, your progress is like this, and when you get, the better you get, that's when it starts to, you know, it starts to slow down. You know, from white to blue, you fly out, and all of a sudden then you hit that purple belt, and it gets really difficult. You know, and I think you speak to Bradley or Hodger Gracie or any of the top guys in the world, they always have, you know, peaks and troughs in the training. I mean, I had a stroke in July. I've recently had heart surgery. I've had a lot of things where I could have said, you know what, I'm stopping, but it's just too much fun. I just don't want to stop. I'm going to keep doing it forever. So it's, you know, there's always going to be things in life that are stopping. You know, family, finances, but the reality is they're all excuses, because everything's, you can work around anything. Finances you can work through. You know, we can make deals with people. If it's really that much of a problem, you know, they can try a couple of classes out, and then, you know, even if they have to take a few months off, but then come back. There's ways of working around everything, and the easiest thing in the world to do is make excuses, I think. But again, this comes back to the issue with traditional martial arts. I think I get on there and I spar with all the guys, and any of my top guys will say that. I make sure I'm the first one on the mat to roll. I'm also the first one on the mat to spar anything with any of the guys. I think because everyone spars, the cards are all on the table, there's no egos, and I think because of that we have a real close family environment. You know, it's that they're my friends, they can ask me questions, they take the mick, because I certainly take the mick out of them. And I think what happens in traditional martial arts, because they can't back it up physically, they like to keep big barriers away, and you know, you can't ask them questions, and if you've got an issue like, well, this doesn't work, they normally say, well, it's because you're not doing it right, don't ask silly questions. Whereas we really encourage that, okay, I don't think this is going to work for me, or I don't reckon this move's going to work. And it's normally because they're doing something wrong, and that's why questions are great. So I think you need to be in an environment where you feel comfortable. You know, I mean, me and Rich have got this philosophy that the martial arts are secondary. People come into our gym and they walk out that door feeling a bit better about themselves, and that's what it's all about, really. You know, the martial arts are secondary, and that's the fun part, but you've got to enjoy what you do. There's no point to it. All I can say is come down. You know, you know, we have a really strong family environment. We encourage, you know, everybody to enjoy themselves. We have a lot of banter on the mats. It's a good fun place to be. And the only thing is just come down and try it. You've got nothing to lose.